Hey everybody, this is pilot episode 1 of the Cinemates podcast. I'm Michael Belting. Like it's fine.
Like Jurassic Park? What the fuck?
Dude, it's fun. Known as Activate Windows, and I'm joined by
Daniel McGraw. What happens if conspiracy theorists actually discover what they want to discover?
And ELIO, but you can call me PvP. Is there a movie where it's the opposite, where men give it a lower score than women?
like chick flick movies.
But that's an
Duh.
actually good movie.
And today's podcast, we're doing a double feature of Billy Wilder's Sunset Boulevard and David Robert Mitchell's Under the Silver Lake.
Just us and the cameras and those wonderful people out there in the dark.
Your generation, your grandparents, your parents, and all the young people that follow you. I love rock and roll. Drop another dime in the jukebox, baby.
Alright, so what's everyone watched lately?
I saw Schindler's List. It was a Hollywood film through and through, and I think it's Spielberg's most overrated.
Most overrated by far. There's a lot of high.
By far.
Yeah.
What didn't do it for you? Because I haven't seen it.
What didn't do it for me? The fact that it was so commercial. It was like what you would expect from a mid-90s Hollywood film. Through and through, trope from trope. Like, I predicted the whole, like, after the first hour, I predicted the whole 3 hours and a half. And, yeah, it never really surprised me, which I guess is a given. But, like, watching Schindler's List is sort of like, it's sort of like watching every other Spielberg film, but now it's dark. And, like, I get, like, the personal aspect, because Spielberg himself is a Jewish American, and the book was obviously very impactful to him. But, like, watching the movie, you just think it's just another affair with him. It's just another Spielberg trip. And that's something I don't really like. I mean, with a proper war movie, say with Threads or something, where the horror of the event is actually shown and not like played out. That's what I look for in a war film. Like, have either of you seen Threads?
I've seen it, but I don't remember much.
I haven't. Who directs it?
Some British director. I don't think he directed much else.
It's a made-for-TV movie for the British broadcasting.
Yeah, I don't know.
And it was fucking horrifying. It showed, like, the actual aftermath of what would happen in a nuclear holocaust, and it really fucking showed you, you know. But with Schindler's List, it's sort of like with Schindler's List. I felt like I was watching a movie the whole time. I felt like I was, you know, going through the same old Hollywood affair for the upteenth time, and Spielberg wasn't really doing anything new.
Like a
That's my take. Elio?
blockbuster version of
like a blockbuster come and see.
You can ignore all of that. Windows, you should definitely watch the movie. It's amazing. I love it.
I'm gonna watch it
I love
eventually.
it. Okay, did you not feel anything emotionally at the end?
Despite all that, I think everybody should watch Schindler's List.
Yes.
Purely for the fact that it's a very important piece of film. Not necessarily because of its quality, but of its impact, I guess, on the general zeitgeist of the 90s, and perhaps even its impact on today. But I really don't think it's that spectacular, flawless film people are making it out to be. I don't really even think it's half that.
It's a great
Elio, you love it to death.
I do.
I haven't. It was on your top 4 for like a month or something. I remember that.
Yeah. Well, that was just like a generic top 4 because I haven't seen it. Can I ask you a question?
Justify yourself to me. Justify your happiness.
Okay, first of all, did you already know about Oscar Schindler before going into the movie or not?
I did some research on him in like my 9th grade history class, but that was not really in depth.
Me too, in a way. I guess so. I already know what was gonna happen. Like, yeah, he saves all these people. It's clear that Spielberg has gone through a lot of effort making this film, especially because he was I forgot if it was either he was making this and then editing Jurassic Park at night, or if he was making Jurassic Park and editing this movie at night. It was one of those, but like to drop like two classics like in the same year, it's like astounding to me. It's like amazing.
Dude,
No other film.
this might
I think
become the
Ralphie.
Spielberg discussion, but I don't even like Jurassic Park.
What?
I like it's
You
fine.
didn't like Jurassic Park? What the fuck?
Dude, it's
not like
fun. It's fun, but like Masterpiece is kind of ridiculous to me.
Okay, maybe not a masterpiece, but it's like
Okay,
it's
I-
definitely a monumental film. It's a great film,
Yeah,
like,
it has
especially
a lot of
because
good
of the
ones.
nostalgia. It's the nostalgia attached to it because I'm pretty sure everybody has seen it as a kid at this point.
I saw it when I was 15, and I fucking loved it still.
Yeah,
Like,
I was-
it's a roller coaster. You know Phil Tippett, right?
Yeah.
You know Phil Tippett? Both of you, he made Mad God. You've seen Mad God?
Oh yeah,
PvP?
I see Mad Guy.
Yeah, Phil Tippett was like the guy who behind all that, and he was apparently originally in charge of the dinosaurs behind Jurassic Park because they were gonna make claymation, and
Yeah.
then he got booted, and ever since I heard that piece of information, I just wonder what Jurassic Park would have been like with like claymated dinosaurs and just like fucking all sorts of contraptions. I think that is what I long for the most out of any of Spielberg's works. I just want to see Phil Tippett's Jurassic Park because he would knock that shit out of the park.
Okay, so this week all I saw was Human Condition, and I watched I told PvP this, I watched Where the Crawdads Sing on Netflix because it was free to me and it was like on the front page. I don't know, maybe it's fine, and I don't know. I mean, it's a good watch, but it's stupid. You know, it's a bad To Kill a Mockingbird, basically.
I feel like there's a lot of other stuff you could have watched besides that.
Yeah, I could have finished the Human Condition trilogy, but I watched the Teenage Girl Taylor Swift movie, so...
Unbelievable. Well, I've seen a lot besides the couple rewatches. I saw The Whale in theaters, which you don't really like.
Dude, it was like the worst movie I've seen in a really long time.
I thought it was the best movie of the year. Two polar opposites.
Yeah, I said it was the worst movie this year, so I don't know.
Agree to disagree.
That's a really big discussion, so I think we're gonna have to not go into that, or we'll be there for 2 hours.
Don't
Yeah.
touch it. It'll be Schindler's List, The Whale then.
Yeah, that would. Hey, that's interesting.
I saw Skidamarink in theaters as well. Very interesting. Nobody in my theater liked it. Only me. I saw Harvey, which came out the same year as Sunset Boulevard, starring James Stewart. Yeah, that's the notable stuff I saw.
Nothing notable about Harvey. It's like from the plot description, right? Harvey's sort
Yeah,
of like the
why are-
original Donnie Darko.
I said that's the notable stuff I watched.
Why are people acting like Harvey is not some complete weird shit? I mean, it's a dude like fantasizing about a rabbit or something. I read the plot and I was really confused.
Yeah, it's mostly played like a comedy. It's a very feel good movie.
Feel
But,
good?
In a way, yeah.
Dude, Donnie Darko is really my
Okay,
comfort movie.
It's Donnie Darko because it shares some like a plot similarity, but that's it.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
Imagine.
other than that, I think we can get into our first movie, which is going to be Billy Wilder's Sunset Boulevard. What are we
Alright.
all thinking? Daniel, you want to start us off?
Pretty good movie from the 1950s Hollywood. Did they actually go through any movements in the 50s for Hollywood? I mean,
It was the classic
actually don't
Hollywood
remember
movement, basically.
shit.
McCarthyism was the big deal at the time. Because remember, like, the Dalton Trumbo thing where they were blacklisting people? That was that kind of era. So it had to
Yeah.
be, it had to fit the censor to some degree, but they wanted it to be creative. So that's kind of why Billy Wilder was fitting that.
You can sort of feel it, you know, like you have the average Hollywood love story between Betty and Joe, and then you have the really weird shit with Joe and Norma.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like the Joe and Normal bit better though, because that's where he's getting a little more creative to the point where it almost seems like the original script was like, it's gonna be an old woman falling in love with this dude and they're gonna like fuck on screen. It almost seemed like it. And I get she does, but it's not like a graphic relationship. It's just she's like insane. But that's the whole premise of the movie.
It kind of feels
It's
like,
like
an early Phantom Thread.
Good point.
no, it's like Misery, but you reverse the roles.
I guess. I mean,
Have you seen Misery?
yeah, I've seen Misery. I like Misery. I guess a less threatening Misery.
Yeah.
It's allowed to leave.
Well, I mean, only one dies at the end. Tell me who.
Yeah, I like the movie. I like how modern the story feels. If it like I said, I saw Harvey before this week, which is a movie that came out at the same time, and watching that, I can notice like, yeah, like this thing feels like something that would have come out in a movie in 1950. But watching Sunset Boulevard is like a lot of these things are things that we would see in a modern setting. Like I mentioned, Phantom Thread, and I really like that. I like the whole character of Norma Desmond. I think it's like the biggest. We can all agree it's like the big highlight of the film.
Probably, yeah, because she has the big iconic scenes in the character. But I mean,
Yeah,
it's also just Sunset Boulevard inspiring a lot of these movies because definitely Paul Thomas Anderson was inspired by this movie. That's not even like in the
True.
question. But then there's also like Mulholland Drive, which I mean even the title is like kind of playing on that. But it's the whole creepy Hollywood thing. It's a classic, dude. It's gonna keep going on for every generation, really. Yeah, this is one of my favorite movies. I think it's a total masterpiece. I don't know why I haven't seen more Billy Wilder movies, because at this moment, all I've seen is Sunset Boulevard, and I watched Ace in the Hole. I have the Criterion DVD for it, which is another American classic one. It's very good.
You got the
Yeah.
Criterion for Ace in the Hole, and you don't have the Criterion for The Apartment? The fuck?
There isn't a Criterion for The Apartment.
Fuck off, no.
There isn't, yeah. There's an
Fuck
Arrow
outta here.
video.
No.
I would have
No.
already watched it if it was on Criterion, because I'm like Criterion's biggest dick rider, really.
Fuck off.
I mean,
What?
there isn't. There's an Arrow video
No.
release, and you have to import it.
Wait, no. It's the best Billy Wilder film. It's the best. It's, dare I say, one. Oh, fuck me. You
We're
weren't
talking
lying,
about
shit.
Sunset Boulevard, and you're saying it's already the
Yeah.
best. Writing a thin line here, buddy. I haven't seen The Apartment, but I mean...
I seen The Apartment. I would say Sunset Boulevard is better.
Fuck off. No one likes your taste.
What did you
Double
get? You gave this
indemnity.
like an 8 out of 10, PvP. What did you give The Apartment?
I gave The Apartment 8 out of 10. I gave this a 9.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Double Indemnity, Some Like It Hot, and Ace in.
The Apartment is pretty good, but it's severely lacking Norma Desmond.
Yeah. Dude, she makes this movie without her. It kind of isn't tied together as much. I mean, the main character of this is interesting in himself because you were mentioning earlier, Daniel, how he's like an asshole to everyone in the first hour of this
Yeah.
movie, basically. In some way, I don't know if I would fully agree with that because he's just kind of like that noir, cowboyish Americana bit. But I don't know if he's being rude to everyone.
Yeah.
I think he thinks he's that guy, but like in reality, he's just like the disillusioned writer, you know, the guy who tried to make it big, didn't make it, and now he's just a jackass. He's bitter. He might not even know he's bitter, but he's like
Yeah.
he's like in the first hour. When has he not been snarky? I get that's just like the average Billy Wilder protagonist, you know, like quick-witted, silver-tongued devil, all that shit, but. When has he not been like an asshole to everybody? Like he put Betty Schaefer through the fucking ringer. I think he was nice to that one producer dude. What was his name?
I don't know.
The guy who appeared for only one scene.
The producer
remember
guy,
when Betty Schaefer,
like Warner Bros. Or something.
Yeah, and Betty Schaefer walked in, talked shit about his writing, and then like, yeah, that was like a pretty funny bit actually. Yeah, he was just a massive dickhead, and I liked that. I just wanted him to continue being a massive dickhead the whole film. Like maybe you could get like a little bit nicer at the end, like you know, like I
Would you?
love that scene. I love that scene where he's guiding Betty out of the house and he's like showing all these luxurious things so that she might feel less sorry for him, not knowing that there's a disconnect between his own money-focused, money-driven ways and her more artistically expressed life. And she leaves crying, maybe because he knows that she won't ever really be happy with him. And then he leaves Norma in return as soon as he just comforts her and everything. I like that scene. But other than that, I don't really know why he just suddenly became nice.
Would you not consider that a character growth in a way?
Pardon?
Would that not be considered like character growth? Like as the movie progresses, he just gets nicer.
Yeah. No, that's character growth, but uh I kind of would have liked it better if he just stayed an asshole the whole film.
Oh, all
That's
right.
what I'm saying.
I thought what you were saying is like that he was suddenly changed and it didn't seem like the plot benefited it. Cause yeah, a character arc should be produced by the events of the plot and to
I th-
some degree, but it
I
also
th-
feels like he's being manipulated to some point where she should be more upset by this. Cause remember the first scene when she tries to kill herself and he's there and he's like half upset at her for what she's done. He's like, why are you wasting my time, you know?
Yeah.
But with that, I mean, I kind of expected that the whole movie, but he is nicer than he should be at the end, sure. I guess
Yeah.
it's for sympathy of the audience because he dies and whatnot.
Yeah. They do spoil
I
that
would
in
have
the beginning.
I kind of would have liked it like if there was an extra 20 minutes of just like him sort of figuring out Norma Desmond in a
Yeah.
way. Like I would have liked it if he just spent um I just would have liked to see more Joe and Norma conversations, if I'm being honest with you. Just them talking back and forth about fucking nothing. Like however like the like just meandering conversations. And I would have liked that a lot more.
I
I
thought
would.
you kind of
That's
got
what
that
I'm
with the
saying.
narration though, because you're getting
Yeah.
his thoughts in the story at least, and it's a bit of it's almost like a false narrator thing. Does that
Yeah.
make sense? Because I mean, it's not false narration; it's the real story. But
He's dead, so how's he narrating?
yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it's like it's skewed almost because he's like an asshole to everyone.
I do kind of stick by my point that it's like rough how he suddenly transitions from this snarky asshole to some benevolent, tragic hero. But I think other than that, every character is pretty much perfect. Even I like Joe Gillis. Norma Desmond is perfect. Max is perfect. Betty Schaefer, she's not too deep. She's perfect for what she is. Um, Artie was super fun to watch. I guess like every main character that gets more than a single scene is just perfect. Nothing I could do to change that.
It's like it's a perfect script. I think it's one of the best scripts out there because it really follows that rule of like I mean I can't believe I'm bringing up Avatar, right? But Avatar is like it has so many characters, but every character in there, even if you don't remember their name, has one thing they're doing that is important to the script. And that's what you really need because you need all these characters like intertwining to a degree of the certain things they need. So like Norma is going to be the crazy lady who's like bringing him into this world, right? It's almost like that noir pull into crime kind of, but it's more of like a toxic relationship bit on that.
Yeah.
There's Betty who's going to pull him away from her, and then she's also the screenwriter, so it brings them together more. It makes like a really good web when you're watching it because they're not wasting time on. I mean, Betty has like the fiance or husband character, right? But he's in it for one scene, and he's just a friend, and you don't like talk to him, and that is kind of the importance because you know that she is getting married, but also you don't need to spend time with this guy because he's not going to benefit the story at all. I mean, it's a very tight script from the beginning because it really wants you to get in the movie already. I mean, almost to a degree of where it's rushing.
What else is a perfect script? Windows,
Marriage Story.
Chinatown.
Chinatown, ooh. Perfect script, sure.
Marriage
Script.
Story.
Because I would read it as like a pulp novel. Even though I'm not huge on Chinatown. It's just I don't know. I would have
I
to
know.
rewatch it.
We're gonna talk about that one day.
You're gonna make us sit down on that one? Okay. You're gonna make me rewatch
Yeah.
it. I don't
Chinatown,
have
the
that big of an
apartment,
issue
boom.
with that. This could be a desert island movie for me because I really like the way it portrays LA as a whole. Like it's a very city centric movie where LA is a character in it, and I love those movies, which is gonna be found out very quickly. There's a couple others we're doing in LA, so gotta be ready for that. But yeah, movies where the big cities are characters kind of end up fascinating because they're bringing in like Norma Desmond is a fucking character if there is one. I mean, she's just this crazy lady that ends up getting brought into normal people's lives, or like relatively normal, but that whole dynamic with them really elevates the movie a lot to that classic status because it's so unique.
I gotta say, my favorite part about Norma Desmond is the fact that you can never really tell if she's being genuine or not. Like you see how
Yeah.
how the other characters in Sunset Boulevard act, like they're very casual, they're, quick-witted, not very dramatic people, They talk and they live their lives. But with Norma Desmond, you can see her like act as she talks to Joe, you know? I don't know if this was a conscious decision or not, but whenever she talks to Joe, she just has this like weird old accent. She's very exaggerated in her postures and whatever. So it's almost like acting is just her first nature.
Yeah.
It's like what she's been doing her whole life. And when she talks to other people, she just doesn't fit in with the normal crowd because she's very extravagant in that way. It's just naturally her.
It seems like Daniel, you like this the least of us because I'm saying this is a favorite, and then PvP's over here liking it. But what dragged it down so much for you, or are you just like a negative reviewer guy?
I mean, I don't think he hated
I'm
it. He just
just
gave it 1 point
the
less than us.
obligatory YMS.
Yeah, he has to be the middle guy. Okay.
Yes. The children were awful in the movie. 6 out of 10.
I really did love Sunset Boulevard, but it's just like the typical hyped out of proportion thing for me because people hype it up as the greatest film to ever grace a silver screen. I'm fucking hyped. I'm all for it. I want to see that. And then I watch it and I realize, oh, it's a great film. Yeah, it's not the best film I've ever seen. And then, inevitably it's a letdown. I would have loved this film so much more if I was just like a casual IMDb film goer and I just like saw it one day and decided to pop it on. Like I'd love it then. But because I'm a fucking LB user, of course, I can't go 5 seconds without hearing about it. What brings down Sunset Boulevard the most for me is that you never actually get to see a sunset. I think that's like a major flaw from Billy Wilder.
Yeah, there was no sunset on that boulevard, was there?
There was no sunset. You could hardly see a boulevard, really. All the
Yeah.
plants were dying. I, on God, wished it either committed to like that surrealism just 100 times more. Because when they buried the chimp, I was like, "Fucking, let's go!" Because I was all for that. I was expecting I was expecting me to think Lynch was a sham by the end of things. Because that's just like I guess the lens I saw this movie as. Just the film that started it all. And really, I just got disappointed again.
It kind of is
Yeah.
for the new era of Hollywood, though, it seemed. Because, it's portraying LA. This is the first big one. But then also with that, it's like all the older movies, they almost had this process in Hollywood where it was like, we're going to pay you $300 for your script, and then we're going to forget about you forever. And so with that whole writer-director thing I was talking about, it's like Sunset Boulevard was really the first one that made movies like an art, almost. At least in that world, because overseas, it was there. But like, this one treated movies like they were an experience.
So, Michael, right? You said that Sunset Boulevard was the first film to really show cinema as an art form, right?
In the Hollywood realm.
Yeah. Are you sure? Because Casablanca came out 8 years before, and Citizen Kane 5 years before that. So, I mean,
Okay, Citizen Kane is a good one to put in, because Orson Welles is really like the centerpiece of that movie. But Casablanca is just a really good version of one of those movies where it's like, we're gonna sell you the script for $500 and we're gonna forget about you. Like, they don't give a shit about the movie. It was just a bunch of dialogue in one room, essentially.
Yeah.
Fucking day.
I'm
It's
not,
a
I'm
10
not a
out
fan
of 10.
of. I'm not a fan
I'm
of
not-
Casablanca either.
Dude, I gave it like a 6 out
me,
of 10.
I gave it a 5.
You both suck. Fucking terrible.
I watched it a second time just to make sure that I didn't like it.
I
It was
watched
still like
it
it's
twice.
bullshit.
I cried both times. It's so
Huh.
moving. I don't know why you guys don't like it.
You
I-
cry it.
Especially you, Windows. I would have had you like. I would
Yeah.
have thought that this would have been like your pick for like the best Hollywood film of all time, but apparently, fucking no.
Yeah, I expected Windows to actually like. I didn't realize you gave it mid, but you cried at Casablanca. but not
Yeah,
Yes,
Schindler's
I did.
List.
that's
Fucking-
strange. What?
Okay, so the thing about Schindler's, the thing is, I just happen to dig the '40s aesthetic a lot more than I dig the '90s aesthetic. I just
I
liked I liked Ingmar Bergman and well, not Ingmar Bergman. What the fuck? What's her name again? The actress
Ingrid Bergman.
Ingrid Bergman. Yeah, I had her confused.
Did we
Ingrid
literally
Bergman.
name Ingmar Bergman and marry somebody named Ingrid.
Ingrid Bergman. Yeah. I liked Ingrid Bergman and Humphrey Bogart's whole thing they had going on. I thought that was like a cornerstone of any noir. And I really liked that final scene where he's bidding her farewell at the airport. I felt very genuinely touched. And then he befriended a Nazi. That was I don't know if that's like well, I'm willing to be lenient because this film came out in 1942 and like the extent of the German atrocities weren't made apparent yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great film. It's a 10 out of 10. I don't know why any of you don't like it, but apparently I have to be the taste around here. That's fine with me.
I don't know about that, dude. Hey, it's a lot of talking to me, and I watched it like 4 years ago, so maybe I was not there to appreciate
A
it.
lot. You say a lot of talking, and yet you suck Billy Wilder off. What the fuck?
Because this is like an eventful movie.
Yeah,
Casablanca.
things
One of your favorite films is 12 Angry Men.
Okay.
Because
you
that-
cannot-
okay,
you cannot
no,
diss
no,
that.
no.
You cannot diss that. You
No, no,
cannot
no.
diss that. That is interesting.
12 Angry Men
talking.
is a 12 Angry Men is a 10 out of 10. Yeah. Okay, it's
Yes.
perfect. And there's nothing anybody
one-
can do.
No.
Literally nothing. But it's 12 people in a room, in a fucking 12 by 5 room talking for like an hour and a half.
Okay,
Like,
here's
how
the
is that-
difference.
How is that? What the fuck?
A talking
Okay,
movie,
go.
okay. Casablanca is a lot of talking. But if you take the plot elements of that movie, like we're in the planning room for Casablanca, it hasn't been made, we have a whiteboard. And at the essence of the whiteboard is the different points of where the story has to go with this talking. There's like 5 points. Like for how much talking there is in that movie to the ratio of what actually matters, you could probably cut out like 30 minutes of the movie. With 12 Angry Men,
Oh.
every point, there's like probably 100 fucking points in this 100-minute movie, right? And it just keeps going and going. And there's no like wasted dialogue or anything where it's just
Yeah.
we're developing the characters. I mean, character development is great, right? But you develop the characters with what happens with the plot.
Yeah.
And that's
You're
where
doing two things
Casablanca
at
really
once.
lost me because I could not tell you a lot about the plot of Casablanca besides there's a romance and there's like a Nazi and you know, it's like it's not that fascinating to me. Maybe that's some lowbrow criticism there because I haven't seen it in forever, but I did not
agree.
find it that fascinating. What was the other example? Casablanca, 12 Angry Men, and we mentioned one other.
And Citizen Kane.
Maybe Citizen Kane. Yeah. I mean, I don't think I have to
I
defend
mean, I
that
think-
for a
I think-
talking movie. Oh, no, this movie
Yeah, yeah.
was
Oh, yeah,
actually the
yeah.
other example. But like with this movie, it's a lot of talking the whole time, but then
Yeah.
every scene matters and all the talking matters. Like that's what I mentioned in the whole beginning of this. You don't it's a perfect script basically because you don't cut out a lot of this movie, but Casablanca to me it's like you could cut out a bunch of random dialogue pieces that are just there to spice the relationship up that don't have anything to do with the plot. I mean, if you don't keep your plot going, I'm not as engaged as I could be in another movie.
Yeah.
You're wrong.
No, he's right.
He
Two out of
opened that
three-
right up. You're wrong. Okay. Well, I'm
2 out of
defeated.
3 people agree. Casablanca boring. Sunset Boulevard great.
Maybe I have to rewatch it. If I rewatch it and I give it a 10, that's gonna be one interesting day.
That's going to be a fucking trip. I will be here. I will be here for that.
Yeah, that's gonna be
Hopefully
the
you
next one
don't.
up if I rewatch it.
Imagine he rewatches it and it's another half star. Shit.
Yeah, I
Just,
give
like,
it a 1
drops
out of
down.
5.
1 out of 5.
Piece of shit. Well, have we gotten everything out of what we want to say for Sunset Boulevard, Billy Wilder?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I really liked Max, you know? I thought Max like a very sad character. How he just feels like perpetually indebted to Norma Desmond. I thought that was like the final scene was fucking haunting. When he like films her walking down the staircase, that was like
Oh, that iconic like push in. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna move on to our second film now. David Robert Mitchell's Under the Silver Lake. Daniel, you want to kick us off?
Inherent Vice was pretty good.
That was a good movie. Yeah.
All right, no spoilers. I haven't seen Inherent Vice. It's
We're
my
Inherent
only-
Vice fans around here. Wow, he hasn't.
I haven't seen it. It's my only Paul Thomas Anderson I haven't seen.
All right. Well, dude, this is like Under the Silver Lake, right? This is kind of a masterpiece of like the last generation. This is my favorite A24 film, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. It was-
I remember you gave like Good Time 10 out of 10 or something. It's better than Good Time?
yeah.
Well, I
It
mean,
was,
they're both 10 out of 10s.
I have it up there. I don't remember my list, but I remember Good Time. Marcel is up there as of late. But yeah, this one's number 1. Oh, Hereditary was the other one.
Hereditary was mid, but that's a topic for another day.
Oh my god.
That's a topic for another day. Let's not get
Daniel
into
just-
it.
Yeah, we're
Daniel
not.
just keeps bringing up hot take after
Bring
hot
up my
take.
many great takes.
Yeah, but
I enjoyed it a lot more on a second watch. I guess on the first watch, it's like just going with the film, just wondering like what is all this leading up to. But now knowing like what's gonna happen, I can pick up on every scene, pick up on themes and such. And it's a pretty good film. I wouldn't say it's like the best A24, but it is a really well made movie.
To me,
I
the
like it.
film ended when he smashed that dude's head in with like Kurt Cobain's guitar. like that was where the film. I kind of like I didn't check out after that part, but I definitely was just not as enthused.
It peaked.
It peaked.
I don't know about
It
that.
peaked.
I kind of made a mental note on this one, but on the rewatch, the songwriter to me is almost like the tie in the very center of this. He's like the point on the whiteboard here. If we're going to back to that analogy of storytelling, like they have all these threads. So the first time watching it, I agree with PvP here. It's very much you're watching it and you're just waiting. It's fine waiting, like it's not boring, but you're definitely just seeing how things turn out. And the second watch for me, it wasn't like I needed to be explained to, but I got a different understanding of the movie at the very least from rewatching this because, well, with the songwriter in the center, it's like we have our intro where he's meeting the band and everything, and then up to this point, he meets the songwriter, and then after that, it's like, okay, well, I'm seeing the conspiracy now, and now we have to unfold it, and they show it, and then the movie does that eyes wide shut kind of thing where it's just like, you gotta live with it now. You know all that. You know the secrets of society. Good luck, dude. And awesome ending, might I add. I love the trash god, or the god of the homeless people. And Andrew Garfield's
The
like,
homeless
Yeah.
king.
he's having a mental breakdown over his ex-girlfriend. He's like, I needed her to take me back. And he has the fucking dog treats. Yeah, that's awesome to me. But I mean, it's such an emotional build over this really long runtime that works somehow. I think it just has enough variety to bring the story in, especially in the first watch, where it's interesting enough to actually get through.
Under the Silver Lake feels like a big, like, this is no slight against it. I think it's a really great film, but it feels like a big, very, very huge joke I'm not in on. I'm not calling the movie a joke. I'm just saying like David Robert Mitchell. He made this film for like his group of friends, and then it accidentally got leaked or something.
Okay,
That's what it feels like.
So here's gonna be a separate conversation here. Have you actually heard of the hidden aspect of this movie?
My fucking god! Do I have to play this film in reverse?
Yeah.
Do I have
Okay,
to
when he is,
I live right next to a bookstore. I'm sure they sell code books.
I'm pretty
What?
sure it's like he's at a party and he's throwing up in a toilet, right? Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
He's over a toilet,
I
and there's
when he
codes
ate the whole
on
cookie, right?
there's codes on the wall, and there's different points of this movie. Like in the credits, yeah.
Fuck.
This is a mystery that's so like dug deep into this movie's core that it's still not been solved, and there's a whole subreddit for it. Like this movie actually has like a hidden message behind it. Yeah, you can look. I mean, I've looked
Post it
into
on
it, and
General.
I was like, "Fucking hell, I'm not looking into this. I don't have the time," because it's taken like 4 years now, and nobody has a clue. But there's like all these different hidden messages throughout the movie that nobody
I'm
can
guessing
sort.
you just gotta go through some like a bunch of random crap, like especially seeing through the movie the way Andrew Garfield just pieces some of the conspiracy is just like such a stretch. And then when it turns out when it's true, like he got it right, it's like what the heck.
Okay, I didn't think that it was such a stretch for most of it because there was the one of the breakthroughs was like playing the record backwards, which is a classic.
Yeah,
Like
that-
everyone
that
knows
makes
it. That was on the Beatles, bro. But then other than that, I think the big one where it didn't catch me was the Nintendo Power Magazine one.
Yeah,
Because they
the one with
introduced
the
it in
stereo
one
map?
scene with Nintendo, and he's like, bro, there's no way it's in video games. And then he's looking over, and right there is the answer. Like,
Yeah, like he literally just has the one magazine needed in order to find out the secrets.
so the guy who is interested in chess and conspiracy theories, who is an old man, is also collecting Nintendo Power Magazine. That is a little bit much of a stretch for me. Even if they tried to tie it in with like it was a conspiracy map, but also some of it is like believable where they have these fictional like cereal boxes and bands and shit and the owl lady. But then to try and convince
what the fuck
me
was up with the owl?
Yeah, what is the owl lady? I need to
Wait,
know.
no. Elio,
Yeah.
let Michael finish, and then he will have to explain the owl lady.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, all right. Go.
I'll talk about the owl lady because that's also you know what, I'll get into it. But when they try and convince me that Miyamoto is putting hidden clues for LA in his Japanese adventure game, like you're losing me a little bit there because I don't think Zelda is like the hidden crypt to LA, you know. You got me on the fictional
pretty
bits
sure it
because
is.
it was a fun mystery to see, but some of it's kind of bullshit. I get the idea that all around in the world there's like lots of things that we don't see as common people that the rich people do see. You know, because I mean, I think no matter what, that's definitely true that rich people know some little secret worlds that we don't, whether they're malicious or not. Okay, so the owl lady.
Yeah, you gotta explain.
The main weird thing, I think, it has to do with the dog killer, obviously, because the connection there is with the magazines that guy was making, and that's how the movie is bringing it in. So this guy, yeah, that's its way of bringing it in. So there's these like killers of LA who are somewhat hired, or at least they believe it's like a fictional god almost of this cult, which has gone around and done much more malicious things than what is actually presented in the end. Because in the end, it's like you build this whole movie up and then they bring it to a 10 of 5 people and they're just like burying themselves underwater or some shit. Like it's much worse than that, but that is just where he was going.
So
I think that's the
Okay,
best I
so-
could give it to you because I don't know about the randomness of the naked lady killing you in your sleep, but
so when Andrew Garfield points a gun at her, she just goes like hoot or something and then runs away.
Yeah, and then and
What the
then
fuck
it's
is up
just-
with that? I need answers.
The scene
Michael.
that scene transition is weird because she runs away and then it just goes straight to the police officer and the owner, the landlord, just evicting him, and she's never brought up again. Like she isn't just hiding somewhere in the house.
I assume, okay, so she did go to a different side of the house, but also the fact that there's more people there, like she's hidden to a very, like the mythologiest god-like extent of like, I know what's going to happen in the future. So when she's looking at the tapes, like the owl lady would have known that the police officers weren't going to check the tapes in that guy's house when she killed him, but he would. And that's why she's looking at the camera and the tape. But in this part, she leaves because they could have gone into his house later. You know? So I guess it's suspense of disbelief that this owl lady is like a secret god. But they kind of made that apparent in the mythical thing where she's been there for like 100 years and she's the same age, just killing people about this cult. I think the dog killer is the one stretch where I'm like, I don't know why this is here. I mean, it's entertaining, I guess, but
what I've heard is that some people are saying that Andrew Garfield's character is the dog killer, but I'm not really sure much about like how to connect that.
I thought that towards the end, especially when he's talking to the homeless man and he has the dog treats, I was like, is this a secret false narrator thing going on? And I'm not realizing that until the end, because that very well could be where he's carrying the dog treats and he's lying because he is the dog killer. But then, I mean, I kind of don't believe it, because we do see him everywhere he goes, right? So it's not like there's places in between like Fight Club where it's like, yeah, I could pare that back now that you tell me that and see that there's something wrong there, right? But this one, you do see everything. So I don't know where to put the dog killer. I think it's just another way to add into this big conspiracy web, which is very well done, by the way. I think even some parts that feel pointless, right? Like with the owl lady, like it has a place that contributes to the emotion of it.
Yeah,
I liked how I liked how the songwriter actually like gave Andrew Garfield everything he wanted, and that was like the look of realization on Andrew Garfield's face is when he realizes like he just fucked up his own life. It's just beautiful. It's precious.
I love that.
Like,
that
was
part.
just, yeah,
that whole
that was a
thing's
that was a
awesome.
great scene. Like, what happens if conspiracy theorists actually discover what they want to discover? Like, would they be any happier for it? Probably fucking not. Would they feel any safer? Probably fucking not. I love that. I love that bit.
Yeah.
I guess that's
I
the
mean,
thing,
they
because
get-
I compared this to Eyes Wide Shut earlier, right? And I was saying how it's like it opens and then it closes, and now you just have to live with that because now you know something that other people don't. And that's kind of the thing with Andrew Garfield. It's like your life's almost ruined, you know, because all of the big one was Kurt Cobain, and he was saying that like he grew up with him and whatnot when he had the poster on his wall, and that was a really big deal for like the soundtrack of his life. And then he just finds out that his entire rebellion was built by this one old dude. Like, even he said that like he made punk music, he made like old rock music, he made pop music. Dude made the world.
made everything.
Yeah, it's weird to me that it would come around to this guy not only innovating pop culture but being like a revolution in himself, and he's just like the puppeteer of culture in general.
What's the thematic link between this and Sunset Boulevard?
The dramatic link for the did you really not
Or
like
thematic? No, because I don't see.
well, the big thing is the whole like paranoia thriller, but then also how Under the Silver Lake is really framed like a 50s noir film, and it has a lot of those tropes. I was talking to Daniel about this because we were talking about whether this movie was misogynist or not. Wasn't it something like that? And I was just saying, like, I mean, it may be, but at the core of noir, there's always been that bit of like women are fragile and they need men to protect them, or the opposite. But that's still bringing in that case, like the femme fatale thing. But that's still bringing in that issue of misogyny from back in the day. But yeah, this definitely does play into that, where every woman in the movie is basically like either there for no reason or they need to be helped by someone, and that is Andrew Garfield, who cannot help a soul. He needs help. But yeah, I think there's those themes in both, how it's connected through the old, and there's the paranoia of it, and there's the hero's journey bit, which isn't, I mean, it's a common plot thing, but it isn't in every movie.
I gotta say, I love the way Andrew Garfield looks in this film. I like how he looks just like a loser.
I want to be him.
I love how he lives in like this relatively. I don't know how it is in the States, but he lives in
I
this
mean,
like relatively wide
it's
apartment.
California, right? It's California, 2018.
It
Like
is
that's gotta be
LA.
thousands. Yeah, it's gotta be thousands of dollars just for
Yeah,
rent.
he has an incredibly nice apartment for not saying what his job actually is. Like he has
Yeah.
music stuff around the apartment, so you assume he just plays, but it's not like he's
I
having
noticed
anyone
like
ask.
I mean, he has
I
a lot
noticed
of
like
free time to be doing all this investigating. I don't see him working.
Because he took off work and he didn't have the money, so that's why the apartment at the end
Yeah.
is like getting taken. But
A lot of people online don't like this movie. In IMDb, it's like a 6 point something.
that means it's amazing if IMDb has it at a 6 point something. Spencer is at that. I don't
Attack the Block.
I don't know that one.
That's an amazing movie.
really. I would have thought like IMDb would have loved Attack the Block.
I
Pretty
guess
sure
not.
Licorice Pizza is the other one. Yeah, so another one, pretty
Synecdoche,
sure Under
New
the
York.
Silver Lake is the biggest gender rating divide
Yeah.
of any movie. We looked at the IMDb score and it was like a 5, and then the men was like an 8 or something, which is wild.
Women hate this
That's massive. He said Taxi Driver. No, Taxi Driver was like an 8 from both. Everyone likes it, but this one, women really hate this movie.
Yeah, that actually was pretty surprising.
Is there a movie where it's the opposite, where men give it a lower score than women?
Like chick flick movies. That's not.
But like that's an
Duh.
actually good movie.
Netflix are good. Fuck off.
Yeah, we literally. Okay, whatever.
Okay, but this is a really really good movie. So is there a really really good chick flick that men don't like but women do?
10 Things I Hate About You. I would assume.
Men hate that.
I don't know about hate that, but it's probably higher by women on IMDb.
But I mean,
Pride and
that's
Prejudice.
kind of like this. Maybe.
I think Little Women is probably evened out, but that's not really a chick flick. That's like a, it's an adaptation of an old.
But at least like a movie that women would like.
Which Little Woman?
Men would. Little Women. Greta Gerwig?
All of them are like the same one. Yeah, the new one is the
Yeah.
best one. So that's. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Under the Silver Lake, dude. This is my favorite A24 movie. I think this is. I mean, it's just a wonderful time to watch. It's very.
Not
up,
my favorite.
It's up my alley. What's your top?
Yeah.
What's your top picks for this PvP?
For what, A24?
Yeah, A24.
I don't know. I especially maybe recency bias, but I would include Everything Everywhere All at Once and After Sun. I really like Hereditary and Midsommar. Can't wait for Disappointment. Bo is a Spring.
That is the worst.
What?
I'm not even gonna watch the movie anymore because like originally it was Disappointment Boulevard and it was like 4 hours long and it was this biopic of a torn man, and now it's like a shitty comedy. All right, Daniel, what would you say is like your top A24 picks though?
Number one is The Lighthouse because I'm a basic. Oh no, wait, no. Number one is Moonlight. Number one is Moonlight because I can't be any more basic. Number two is The Lighthouse. Number three is The Green Knight. 4 is First Reformed. And number 5 would be, I guess, Lobster.
Oh, that's a good one.
All right, well, that's going to be a wrap on our pilot episode of the Cinemates podcast. If you would like, we would love if you could review on iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. The next episode, we'll be talking night moves and after hours. We'll see you guys in the next episode. This is Michael Belting.
This is Daniel McGrath.
And this is ELIO Orozco.
It's been good. We will see you guys in the next podcast.